You don't have your own time. Guard the little time you have. You'll find that time is the most precious thing that you are given to accomplish whatever we desire. This is evidence when someone gets ill or is in a situation that is not pleasing. That person will prefer those people who come to help him or her than those who will just send their help either via messages or via even money. They will remember them more than those who just send their help via the phone. And this now tells you that time is very precious compared to anything else. You'll find that if you have been blessed to live 70 years, which the Bible says that the years of average man is 70 years, but you can go more than that, and you have been sleeping, let's say, for a third of a day, 8 hours a day, as science tells us, it means by the end you die, the time you die, you will have spent approximately 24 years sleeping. That leaves you only with 46 years to work or to do something meaningful. Out of these 46 years, you remember that some of us might have been privileged to go to school, maybe from nursery to secondary, which takes almost around 12 years. So when you subtract 12 years from 46, you are remaining with around 34 years. Those who go to university to further their studies, when you add 4 years, you remain with 30 years. When you years, you remain with 30 years to do something meaningful. Those who are privileged to be employed early, let's say around 21 years, and retire at 60, you find that you have around 40 years of work which will commit it to your employer. And you'll find that all through these years, if you have been spending 1 hour in the morning to prepare and to take breakfast, lunch hour the same, and even evening to prepare the supper and eat, it means you are spending 3 hours a day just to assign it for eating. And over those 70 years, you find that you will have spent around 8 years just preparing food, either preparing food and eating food. And in this generation where technology has advanced and everything seems to move faster and people are being active more on social media than on the physical, you find that an average person spends around 3 hours in the social media a day. These 3 hours on social media accounts to around, let's say maybe you started to use social media when you are 18 years and you live up to 70 years. It means you will have spent around 7 years just on the social media. Remember, this is just consumption, not production. When you are using social media, you are not posting anything. This is just consumption. You are not producing anything. You're just looking at what other people have produced. You find that now you will have spent 7 years just on social media. When you do the calculation from the 30 years, you have used 8 years, 2 times that is 16. You have used another 7 years, that is 23 years. You will find that you will only remain around with less than 7 years to do your personal things. When you minus the hours that you have worked for the employer, maybe 8 hours per day, the only time you have to do your own purpose things is from 5 maybe going until the morning 6. So you find that most of this time, and then you find that maybe you have a family, they need your time. It means you'll have to spend most of your time with other people or helping other people, not yourself. And as you find that you can be very busy but not productive. You can be in motion but not making progress. Because now the fact of time, any time you waste now, it compounds, it grows and it multiplies. When you sum it up in many years, you find that you will have wasted a lot of time. If you have friends and you give 1 hour to socializing, to interacting with people every day, it means you will spend 3 years out of your 70 years just socializing, not doing anything. If you have relatives and let's say you give them 3 hours a day, maybe before you, after waking up, before you sleep, you are interacting with the families for 3 hours. It means you'll have spent 9 years just for your family and relatives. And if maybe you're living in a busy city like Nairobi and you have to work, to move to work maybe through public means, and you spend around 2 hours, 2 and 4 daily, and maybe you have worked in Nairobi for around, let's say, 40 years. That means you will be spending 2 good years just traveling. Let's say that attending function, you attend maybe one function in a week, and each function maybe takes 5 hours, be it church, be it maybe wedding, be it burial, something like that. You find that you'll have spent almost 1.5 years just on the road, on the functions, attending other people's functions. If maybe each and every day you spend 30 minutes to wait to do what you want or to get what you want, like you don't get everything when you want immediately. Each day you spend 30 minutes. It means you will have spent around 1.5 years just waiting for being attended to, for getting what you want or doing what you want. or going to that meeting before it starts, you waste time. That means you'll have spent 1.5 years just waiting for things to happen or things to come. That's why the Bible says that we should redeem our time. We should be redeemers of time. And it also says that teach us to number our days so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom. If you don't know the purpose or the importance of time, you may either spend it with the wrong people or spend it in the wrong way. And at the end of it, when God will ask you to account for the time He allowed you to live on earth, you'll find that you'll be regretting. So what you do with your time matters a lot. People may say they don't have time, but you find that people only have time for what they value. Someone may say they don't have time for you, but they will watch a movie for 6 hours continuously. So they prefer a movie than maybe you. They'll say maybe they don't have time with God, but the same people, they will maybe find time to go and watch football, find time to go and debate on issues to do with politics. So we don't have an excuse. You have time as long as you're still living. In fact, there are those who say, oh, I'm not employed. How they give themselves to reckless living. In fact, the best time to use is when you are unemployed. That is when you can do what you want with your life. You can do what much with your time, because when you're employed, it means you have given your time. Your employer is buying your time and your life as well. In fact, the best thing you can share with a person is time, because that means you are sharing with that person your life. When you will be accounting for the life you lived, you will say, I spent 1 hour with so and so, I went and visited so and so, I visited the sick, I visited the needy, maybe the prisoners. That is the best way to spend our time with other people, to encourage them, to put a sense of hope in them. And that's why Jesus Christ came with the good news. He came to bring a good news. His life was full of bringing hope and a sense of hope to others. And when he finished, he was able to account for his life, because he said it's finished. Whatever he was sent to do, he accomplished it. And this is where the purpose comes. If you don't know your purpose, you will spend your time in the wrong things. But if you know your purpose, you are likely to spend your time in the right things. So may God help us to redeem our time. Maybe we may have wasted a lot of time in the past, but we can redeem it. We can ask for restoration, for divine speed. What we could have maybe accomplished in 20 years, God can make it in 1 year. Because we are told that 1,000 years to God is like 1 day, and 1 day to God can be like 1,000 years. So if we learn to know the reason, the purpose we are supposed to live, we can double our effort, we can be committed, we can be focused, and we can be able to achieve what we have lost in maybe many years ago. We can accomplish it even in the shortest time possible. So every minute counts, every second counts, every hour counts, every day, every week, every month, every year counts. May God help us to and teach us to number our days, so that we may apply our hearts to wisdom and knowledge, as David said.